गिरिधारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चाहे श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। गौड़ीय भाष्य अब श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। Hari Bol Kishore Prabhu and Lakshmi Mandal. Hare Krishna. So, we will begin with singing any kirtan for Mahaprabhu. Kishore, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just pick something. Let's just find the table of contents.
Ādi-khaṇḍa Gauranitai.
Okay, that's a really nice one. Okay. Ha kabe goranitai. Very unique one. Where is it? Okay. Alas, when, this is by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from his Kalyana Kalpataru.
The screen's not sharing.
Oh, I'm so spaced out. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Alas, when will the two brothers, Gaur Nitai, bestow their abundant mercy upon this most fallen person and show themselves to him? Actually, one second. Okay. By the power of their mercy, I shall see the transcendental splendor of Vraj in Navadvip. I shall behold the enchanting Ananda Shukura Kunj with greedy eyes. Near to Ananda Shukura Kunj is Sri Lalita Kund, surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of bejeweled sitting places, where Shri Radha Krishna expands the incessant revelry of their pastimes. All of their sakis are there to assist in these pastimes, realizing the joy of rendering various kinds of seva. This maidservant is also present, running here and there to carry out her duties on the order of her saki. Stringing a garland of malati flowers, I shall bring it and place it in the hands of my saki, She will place it around the necks of Shri Radha Krishna, and I shall dance filled with ecstasy. Okay. One second, let me see if this mic is activated. Yes. Ādi-khaṇḍa পতিতা জনে ওরো কৃপা করি এ পতিতা জনে ওরো কৃপা করি দেখা দিবে দুটি ভাই দেখা দিবে দুটি ভাই ও হা হা কবে গৌরনিতাই হা হা কবে গৌরনিতাই দোহ কৃপা বলে নবদ্বীপে ও নবদ্বীপ ধামে দেখিব ব্রজের শোভা তুহ কৃপা বলে নবদ্বীপ ধামে দেখিব ব্রজের শোভা আনন্দ সুখদ কুঞ্জ মনোহর আনন্দ সুখদ কুঞ্জ মনোহর এরিব নয়ন লোভা এরিব নয়ন লোভা আহা হা কবে গৌরনিতাই তাহার নিকটে শিলালিতা কুণ্ড রত্নবেদী কত শত তাহার নিকটে শিলালিতা কুণ্ড রত্নবেদী কত শত যথা রাধা কৃষ্ণ লীলা বিস্তারিয়া যথা রাধা কৃষ্ণ লীলা বিস্তারিয়া বিহরেন অবিরত বিহরেন অবিরত সখী গণ যথা লীলার সহায় নানা সেবা সুখ পায় সখী গণ যথা লীলার সহায় নানা সেবা সুখ পায় এ দাসী তথায় সখীর আজ্ঞাতে এ দাসী তথায় সখীর আজ্ঞাতে কার্যে iti uti dhāy karje iti uti dhāy mala tira mala গাঁথিয়া আনিব দিব তবে সখী করে মালা তীর মালা গাঁথিয়া আনিব দিব তবে সখী করে রাধা কৃষ্ণ কলে সখী পরাইবে রাধা কৃষ্ণ গলে সখী পরাইবে নাচিব আনন্দ ভরে নাচিব আনন্দ ভরে আহা কবে গৌরনিতা জনে ওরু কৃপা করি এ পতিত জনে ওরু কৃপা করি দেখা দিবে দুটি ভাই দেখা দিবে দুটি ভাই আহা কবে গৌরনিতা Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur, Hari Bol. Shri Nitai Gaur, Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, Champak Mataji and Satya Mataji. Hari Bol. And let's see who else is here. Sudevi Didi and Raseshwari Mataji. Hare Krishna, everybody. Lakshmi Mandal. Hare Krishna. And I see there are a few other people watching, but I just letting you know, I only see your comments if you write a I only see your name if you write a comment. Otherwise, you're just a number. Okay. So now we are continuing on with our summary of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. But before we start, we can do the Mangala Charan. Let me just open that up. Oh, Krishna. Okay. Oh wait, 1 second. Yeah, last night, throughout the whole night, there was firecrackers going on. It's Durga Puja time. So just like right outside of my wall, all the way till sunrise. Just didn't stop, so I'm a little bit, yeah. Okay. Oh, Hari Bol, Kuruna Didi. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's do the Mangala Charan. Also, these are the last days that we're doing this Mangala. Kishore says, Jai Kalima. These are the last days that we're doing. Tomorrow will be the last day that we do this Mangala Charan. Yesterday I prepared another Mangala Charan for the Ādi-khaṇḍa. So, okay. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। नमस्त्रिकालसत्याय जगन्नाथसुताय च सभृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। Actually, these two first verses from Caitanya-bhāgavata are the same in the Madhya-khaṇḍa. So we'll continue doing this also. But all these next ones, this is our last day doing it from this one onwards. Avatirno sakarunyo parichinno sarishvaro Śrī Krishna Caitanya Nityanando dvau bhrataro bhaje Sajayati vishuddha vikrama Kanakabha kamalaya tekshana Varajanu vilambi sharbhujo Bahudha bhakti rasa bhinartaka Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishvesha Murter Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Adi Śrī Caitanya Priya Goshtir Charane Ashesha Prakare Mor Danda Paraname Tabe Vando Śrī Krishna Caitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishwambhar Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Shiptashtakamaditaranga Madhe Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur. From Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 8, verses 33 to 42. Ore mura lok shuno Chaitanya manga Chaitanya mahima jate jani bishaka Krishna lila bhagavate kohe ved vyas Chaitanya lila ravyas Vrindavana dasa koilo Chaitanya manga Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Manga Chaitanya Nitair Jate Janiye Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima Bhagavate Jatta Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likhiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar Subal Chaitanya Mangal Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan Seho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakhan Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Bhakta Śrī Caitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pade koti namaskar. Aiche granta korite ho tarila sansar. Narayani Chaitanya Uchishta Bhajan. Tar garbe janmila Shidasa Vrindavan. Tar ki arbutta Chaitanya Charita Varnan. Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 4-5. Sahaje vichitra madhur Chaitanya vihar. Vrindavana dasamukhe amriter dhar. Vrindavana dasamukhe amriter dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All right. All right, so now we're continuing on with our summary of Haribol, Pradyumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji. All right, so we're continuing on with the summary of, we're doing the middle portion of Ādi-khaṇḍa today. Yesterday we did chapters 1 through 7, and today we're doing chapters 8 through 12. We're reading the summaries written, also known as the Kathasars, written by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj during Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time when he was Pranavananda Brahmachari. So let's see. But maybe we'll read just the first paragraph of each. The first paragraph of each one of these summaries just gives the topics of the chapter, and so we can read that all up to. Actually, also let's look at the table of the topics of each chapter. Like the less in-depth topics. Let's see. I think it's here. Okay. So chapter 1 of Ādi-khaṇḍa is Gaur Lila Sutra. It's a summary of Gaura's pastimes. Then chapter 2 is Prabhu Janma, the Lord's appearance. Chapter 3 is Prabhu Koshti Ganan, calculation of the Lord's horoscope. Chapter 4 is Namkaran, Balacharita, and Chorapaharan. That's name-giving ceremony, the childhood pastimes of the Lord, and thieves kidnap the Lord. Chapter 5 is Toritik Viprana Bhojan, eating the mendicant brahmana's offerings. Then chapter 6 is Prabhu Vidyaramba, or Bala Chapalya. The Lord begins studying and his childhood mischief. Then chapter 7 is Vishwarup takes sannyas. That's what we read up to yesterday. And today we'll be reading chapter 8, which is the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra, Paraloka Jagannath Paraloka Gaman. Then Nityananda's childhood pastimes and travels to holy places. I forgot what this is called. I think it's called Nityananda Balacharita or Tirtha Jatra. Then there's marriage with Shri Lakshmi Priya. That's Lakshmi Priya Parinoy. Then chapter 11, which is meeting with Shri Ishwar Puri. Ishwar Puri Milan, I'm guessing? I don't know. And then chapter 12 is the Lord's wandering throughout Navadip, Nagar Brahman. So that's what we'll be reading about today, all the summaries. And then tomorrow we'll read chapter 13, defeating Digvijay Parajay, I think it's called. Then chapter 14, the Lord's travel to East Bengal and the disappearance of Lakshmi Priya. Bangladesh Brahma? No, I forgot what it was called. Anyways. And then chapter 15, marriage with Sri Vishnupriya Parinoy. Chapter 16, the glories of Sri Haridas Thakur. And then chapter 17, the Lord's travel to Gaya. So those we'll read tomorrow. 13 to 17 we'll read tomorrow. So now I'm going to read the first paragraph of all these up to 7, so that we can get more in-depth topics for each chapter. Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Papatarani Mataji, and Kanika Didi. Hare Krishna. Okay. I'm just checking again. Oh, and Hari Bol Vidyalalasa Didi. Hare Krishna. Okay, so the first 5 verses of this chapter are the Mangala Charan. That's what we've been saying every day for the past 72 days, is it? Or 71 days. In the first verse, the author offers his respects to both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. In the second verse, he offers his obeisances only to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the third verse, the author discloses the confidential knowledge that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is none different from Śrī Krishna, the son of Yashoda, and that Nityananda Prabhu is none different from Śrī Balaram, the son of Rohini. It's Avatirna Sakarunyo. And the fourth verse, the author glorifies the... Oh, this goes through an in-depth... Anyways, this chapter, I'm not going to read this whole thing again, but this chapter goes into depth about the glories of Lord Balaram, how it was none different from Nityananda Prabhu, and the many different ways that Balaram serves the Lord. It goes through all different ways that and the glories of Baladev's Ras Leela, and then the second half of this chapter, Vrindavan Das Thakur goes through. He gives a synopsis, kind of like the table of contents for the Adi, Madhya, and Antya-khaṇḍas of Chaitanya-bhāgavata. Let's see. In this book, the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in 3 divisions: the Ādi-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising the Lord's scholastic pastimes; the Madhya-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising the inauguration of the Sankirtan movement; and the Antya-khaṇḍa, mainly comprising the Lord's distribution of the holy names as a sannyasi in Nilachal. This chapter concludes with a summary of the contents of the entire book. Okay, so chapter 2, the Lord's appearance. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desire of the Lord. It also describes the godless atmosphere of Navadip, Śrī Advaita Prabhu's worship of Krishna with water and tulsi leaves, the appearance of Śrī Nityananda on the 13th day of the waxing moon, the prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb, the appearance of Śrī Gaurachandra on the full moon night of the month of Falgun amidst the congregational chanting of the holy names, and the joyful celebration of the Lord's appearance. So then chapter 3, calculation of the Lord's horoscope. This chapter describes the appearance of Sriman Mahaprabhu along with the congregational chanting of the holy names on the pretext of a lunar eclipse. It also describes the calculation of the child Vishwambar's horoscope by Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, and also the celebration of Vishwambar's appearance at the house of Sri Jagannath Mishra, and the glories of the appearance days of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Then chapter 4, name-giving ceremony, childhood pastimes, and thieves kidnap the Lord. This chapter describes Sri Gaur Hari's childhood pastimes, his crawling as a child, his name-giving ceremony, the kidnapping of Nimai by 2 thieves, and the 2 thieves falling under the influence of Vishnu's illusory energy and returning Nimai to the house of Jagannath Mishra, thinking it to be their own house. Then chapter 5, eating the mendicant Brahmana's offerings. This chapter describes Shachi and Jagannath Mishra hearing the sound of ankle bells and seeing wonderful footprints inside their house, and Gauragopal's eating the wandering mendicant's food. His offering, And then chapter 6, the Lord begins studying and his childhood mischief. This chapter describes the beginning of Nimai's scholastic pastimes, his eating the foodstuffs offered to Vishnu on Akadashi at the house of Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit, and his various mischievous childhood pastimes. And then chapter 7. This chapter contains descriptions of Vishwarup's acceptance of sannyas and Gaur Hari's acceptance of the mood of Dattatreya and instructing his mother on absolute truth while sitting on a pile of rejected clay pots. So that's everything that we read all these summaries yesterday. Now we're continuing on from chapter 8, the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. But let's see, chapter 7 ended with, although Nimai explained all spiritual topics in the mood of a child, Shachi and other relatives in the mood of Vatsalya could not understand those instructions due to the influence of Yoga Maya. When Shachi Devi saw that Nimai would not leave that dirty place, she personally grabbed the child's hand and took him for a bath. Thereafter, Shachi Devi and others informed Jagannath Mishra, Nimai is feeling most unhappy because he cannot study. So, on everyone's request, Purandar Mishra ordered Nimai to continue his studies. Chapter 8, the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. This chapter describes Nimai's sacred thread ceremony, his studying at the house of Gangadas Pandit, Jagannath Mishra's dream of Vishwambar's future pastimes as a sannyasi, and the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. Oh, Haribo, Mahi Bharat Prabhu. Great to have you here. Okay. Śrī Gaurasundar accepted the sacred thread in a grand ceremony at an auspicious moment, on an auspicious day, in an auspicious month. Then, in order to deliver the living entities, he enacted the pastimes of Vamandev and begged alms from everyone. Śrī Gaurasundar began to study with Gangadas Pandit, who is non-different from Sandipani Muni, and the crest jewel among the professors of Navadvip. When Gangadas realized that Nimai was the most intelligent of his students, he became very pleased. Nimai did not hesitate to challenge even Gangadas's senior students, headed by Sri Murari Gupta, Kamala Kanta, and Krishnananda. Nimai would go to the various bathing ghats along the Ganga and quarrel with the other students. After Nimai explained and established the meaning of a sutra, he would refute that meaning and then re-establish his first explanation, thereby astonishing the assembled students. In order to see Nimai's scholastic pastimes, the omniscient Brihaspati appeared in Navadvip along with his disciples. The Ganga had long desired the good fortune enjoyed by the Yamuna, Urmi Dor Vilasapar Manabapar Paravandini. Yamuna, who with folded hands in the form of waves, prayed to the lotus feet of the Lord. I mean, that's from Srila Rupa Goswami's Yamunashtakam. But maybe he's using it in reference to Ganga here. That's interesting. So Śrī Gaurasundar, who was a desire tree, regularly fulfilled that desire of Ganga Devi. Thus, Nimai displayed his pastimes of bathing in the Ganga, properly worshipping Vishnu, watering the tulsi plant, and honoring prasad. Thereafter, he would sit in a secluded place in his house to study and write a commentary on the sutras. Seeing these activities, Jagannath Mishra was jubilant within, and out of parental affection, he continually prayed to Krishna so that his son would not face any obstacles. One day, Jagannath Mishra dreamt that Nimai was dressed as a wonderful sannyasi and engaged in continual laughing, dancing, and crying, while chanting the names of Krishna, surrounded by the devotees headed by Advaita Acharya. He saw Nimai sit on Vishnu's Singhasan and place his feet on everyone's head. The demigods, led by the four-headed, five-headed, and thousand-headed lords, all chanted Jai Shachinandan and offered prayers from all sides. Then he saw Nimai dancing and chanting in the streets of Navadvip, followed by millions of people. He also saw Nimai going to Nilachal with his devotees. After seeing this dream, Jagannath Mishra was convinced that Nimai would leave home and become and he became filled with fear and anxiety. Shachi Devi, however, solaced Jagannath Mishra, saying, "The way Nimai is engaged in studying, he will never leave home and go anywhere." Shortly thereafter, Jagannath Mishra left this world. As Sri Ramachandra cried when Sri Dasharatha left this world, feeling separation from his devotee, Sri Gaurasundar also profusely cried on the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. Thereafter, Nimai solaced Mother Shachi in various ways, saying, I'll give you that which is rare for even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva." One day, before going to take bath in the Ganga, Nimai asked Shachi Devi for some oil, and he asked her for an amalaki fruit, a flower garland, and some sandalwood to worship the Ganga. When Shachi Devi requested Nimai to wait a bit, Nimai became as angry as Rudra and began to destroy everything in the house, including the doors and windows. Being the protector of Sanatan Dharma, however, the Lord did not raise his hand against his mother. After breaking everything, Nimai began to roll on the ground. Thereafter, Shachi Devi brought sandalwood and a garland for Nimai's worship of the Ganga. As Yashoda tolerated all of Krishna's mischievous activities in Gokul, Shachi Devi similarly tolerated all of Nimai's mischievous activities in Navadvip. After Nimai bathed in the Ganga, returned home, and ate, Shachi Devi said to him, "What did you gain by smashing everything in the house? What will you eat tomorrow? We have no more provisions at home." In reply, Nimai told his mother, "Vishwambar Krishna is the only maintainer of everyone. His devotees do not need to worry about their food." Saying this, Sri Gaurasundar, the husband of Saraswati, he went out to manifest his pastimes of study. When Nimai returned home, he gave 20 grams of gold to his mother and said, "Krishna has given this resource. You can exchange it for whatever household provisions we need." Shachi Devi thought, whenever there is a shortage at home, Nimai immediately brings gold from somewhere. Shachi Devi became afraid as she thought, I don't know, perhaps some problem will arise. Thus, Shachi Devi first checked the gold with 5 to 10 people before exchanging it for her household necessities. Nimai remained always engaged in discussing the scriptures while taking bath, eating, and traveling. He did not disclose himself due to the fallen condition of the world. This chapter ends with a description of the world as devoid of devotional service to Lord Hari and the distress felt by the compassionate Vaishnavas on account of this pathetic condition. Chapter 9. Now we're reading summary of Chapter 9, Nityananda's childhood pastimes and his travels to holy places. This chapter describes the various dramas related to Sri Krishna, Rama, and Vamana that Srimad Nityananda Prabhu enacted up to his 12th year and his subsequent travel to holy places up to the age of 20. So from ages 12 to 20, Nityananda Prabhu was traveling to all holy places. That's a very long time of traveling. Was that 8 years, right? Yeah. On the order of Sri Gaurakrishna, Sri Anantadev personally appeared in the village of Ekachaka in the district of Radhadesh from the womb of Padmavati, the wife of Haro Oja, as Sri Nityananda Chandra. In the wake of his appearance, all the prevalent inauspicious symptoms were totally uprooted. In his childhood pastimes, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu and his associate childhood friends remained engaged in imitating various pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sometimes he and his friends would form the assembly of the demigods. And someone, oh wait, I forgot. Kishore Prabhu, you wanted to read about Jagannath Mishra, right? His leaving this world?
Yeah. If you want, I can read at the end. It's no problem. Or do you want me to read now?
Well, we did just read about it, and so maybe now is a good time. Or
Okay,
maybe we've already passed it. Yeah, I think read it now.
okay. According to Chaitanya-bhāgavata, Lochandas Thakur went more into detail. Please listen to a wonderful story which will mitigate the miseries of the heart. One day, Jagannath Mishra, the jewel amongst the Brahmanas, returned home after studying the Shastras in his guru's ashram. By the arrangement of Providence, Jagannath broke out in a high fever. Shachi Devi worried and cried. Nimai Pandit consoled her with some philosophy. Mother, everyone must die some day. In due course of time, even Brahma, Rudra, the vast ocean, and the Himalayas must meet with destruction. Why are you worrying over death? Gather all your friends and chant Krishna's holy names. At the critical time of death, it's a friend's duty to remind another friend of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Hearing the unfortunate news, the friends and relatives rushed to Shachi Devi's house and stood around Jagannath Mishra. Seeing his imminent death, the senior members of the family held a discussion. Vishwambar said to Mago, Mother, why are you delaying? Now engage the relatives. Then Vishwambar, Shachimata, and some friends carried Jagannath Mishra's body to the Ganges. While clutching his father's feet, Vishwambar cried uncontrollably and spoke in a choked voice. You're going away, leaving me alone. I won't be able to call you father anymore. From today, my house is empty. I won't see your feet again. Now the 10 directions are filled with darkness for me. You'll no longer hold my hand and teach me. Upon hearing the tender words of his son, Jagannath Mishra tried to respond but couldn't. In a choked and feeble voice, he said, Listen, Vishwambar, I can't help but tell what's in my heart. In the future, you may forget me. So now I am submitting you to the shelter of the lotus feet of Raghunath, their family Shalagram deity, Raghunath. Then Jagannath Mishra absorbed himself in remembering Hari. The Brahmanas placed tulsi leaves on his neck and bathed Jagannath Mishra in the Ganges water. While surrounded by his friends and family, Jagannath Mishra, the best of the Brahmanas, chanted the holy names of Krishna and returned to Vaikuntha on a celestial chariot. Feeling great bereavement, Shachi Devi cried piteously. Clasping the feet of her husband, Shachi lamented, Oh my lord, take me with you. I've served you for so many years, and now you're going to Vaikuntha without me. I faithfully served you while you rested and while you were eating. Now I see nothing but darkness in all directions. The whole world seems void without you. From now on, I have no shelter except my little son. Where will Nimai stay, and whom will he look to for guidance? A son like your Nimai is rare to find anywhere in the three worlds. Forgetting him, you are leaving this world behind. Nimai, the darling son of Shachi, cried profusely upon seeing his father's death and hearing Shachimata's pitiful words. The teardrops falling on Nimai's chest looked like a string of costly pearls. The crying of the Lord induced his friends, devotees, and the whole world to wail in woe. Nimai's friends tried to console him with sweet words. Vishwambar, if you keep crying, the creation will suffer. The housewives pacified Shachi Devi. Just look at your darling son Vishwambar and forget about all this. Lord Gauranga checked his emotions and acted soberly in order to perform the necessary funeral rites for his father. Vishwambar, along with the family members, executed the details according to the prescribed Vedic rules. With great devotion, he worshipped the ancestors. He fed the Brahmanas and gave them gifts. Jagannath Mishra, the father of Lord Vishwambar, was the greatest amongst the Brahmanas. Anyone who hears with faith and devotion about Jagannath Mishra's disappearance, and return to Vaikuntha, will also attain Vaikuntha if he dies on the bank of the Ganges. Gazing at Gaurachandra's face, Shachimata sighs while thinking, if I can get Vishwambar absorbed in his studies, Then he will pass his days happily. Lochan Das requests everyone to attentively hear about the wonderful character of Lord Chaitanya.
Wow, that was really heavy. Thanks for sharing that, Kishore. Okay, so that was the disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. And then in the next chapter, and then we read about Nimai smashing everything in the house and then bringing the gold. Then now chapter 9, Nityananda's childhood pastimes and travels to holy places. This chapter describes the various dramas related to Sri Krishna, Ram and Vaman that Srimad Nityananda Prabhu enacted up to his 12th year and his subsequent travel to the holy places up to the age of 20. On the order of Sri Gaur Krishna, Sri Anantadev personally appeared in the village of Ekachakra in the district of Radhesh from the womb of Padmavati, the wife of Haro Oja, as Sri Nityananda Chandra. In the wake of his appearance, all the prevalent inauspicious symptoms were totally uprooted. In his childhood pastimes, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu and his associate childhood friends remained engaged in imitating various pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sometimes he and his friends would form the assembly of the demigods, and someone dressed as Mother Earth, burdened by the atrocities of the demons, would come before that assembly and offer prayers. At that time, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu and the boys who were part of that assembly, they would go to the bank of a river and pray to Lord Kshiradakshai. Thereafter, a boy acting as Kshiradakshai would announce from a hidden place, "I will soon enter in Mathura Gokul in order to diminish the burden of the earth." At other times, they imitated the various Dwapar pastimes of Krishna, like the marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki, the birth of Krishna in the prison cell, Vasudev's taking Krishna to the house of Nanda, Vasudev's return with Mahamaya, the daughter of Yashoda, the killing of Putana, the breaking of Shakata, Krishna stealing butter and milk from the house of the cowherds, and the killing of Denuka, Aga, and Bakasura, tending the cows, lifting Govardhan, stealing the gopis' clothes, Krishna's bestowing mercy on the wives of the sacrificial brahmanas, Narad's giving advice to Kamsa in a secluded place, and the killing of the elephant Kuvalaya and the wrestlers of Chanura, Mushtika, and Kamsa. That was like a whole synopsis of the first half of the 10th canto, right? Sometimes, in the form of Vaman, he deceived Bali. Sometimes, while enacting the pastimes of Ram, he would gather his friends to form an army of monkey soldiers and build a bridge. He would personally play the role of Lakshman and approach Sugriv with bow and arrows in his hands. In the form of Ram, he would diminish the pride of Parshuram, and while enacting the killing of Indrajit, he would fall unconscious in the mood of Lakshman, having been hit by Indrajit's powerful arrow, until Hanuman brought medicine under his previous directions and revived him. In this way, he exhibited pastimes of various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu engaged in enacting various pastimes up to the age of 12. Thereafter, on the pretext of purifying himself, he traveled to the holy places of Aryavarta and Dakshinatya up to the age of 20. He then came to Navadvip and met his own Lord Sri Gaurasundar. In the course of visiting the holy places, Nityananda Prabhu met Sri Madhavendra Puri, Sripad Ishwar Puri, Sri Brahmananda Puri, and Sri Brahmananda Puri. In this way, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu passed a few days discussing the topics of Krishna with Sri Madhavendra Puri, who was accompanied by his disciples. Some people say that Nityananda Prabhu is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And yeah. And some people even say that he's a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha. Different pure devotees say this even so. Thereafter, he proceeded to Setubandha, Dhanush Tirtha, Mayapuri, Avanti, Godavari, G.R. Nrsimha, Devapuri, Trimalla, Kurmakshetra, and many other holy places before arriving in Nilachal. At Nilachal, Sri Jagannath Dev, the source of the Chaturvyuha, at Nilachal he saw Jagannath Dev, the source of the Chaturvyuha, and he became overwhelmed in ecstasy. From Sri Kshetra, that's Kshetradam, he returns to Sri Mathura. This chapter ends with an explanation of why he did not exhibit the pastime of distributing the holy names of love of God at that time. And there's a glorification of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is none different from the omnipotent Baladev. So he didn't distribute because he didn't get the order from Mahaprabhu yet. Now we come to chapter 10, the marriage with Sri Lakshmi Priya. This chapter describes Sri Vishwambar's scholastic pastimes in the assembly of Gangadas Pandit. It also describes his exchanging of joking words with Murari Gupta, his marriage with Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, and Shachi Devi's experience of various opulences in her house after the arrival of her daughter-in-law. Okay, summary. After finishing his morning duties, Nimai Pandit and other students came and sat in Gangadas Pandit's classes and debated with each other. Those who did not want to study under Nimai were not supported by him. Rather, he showed them the bad results of studying independent of his guidance. Observing that Murari Gupta was not studying under his guidance, Nimai once jokingly told him that it was better for him to treat patients than to study grammar, because he was from a Vaidya family. In this way, he tried to arouse his anger. Rather than becoming angry, Murari, who is a plenary portion of Rudra, challenged Nimai to test his knowledge. Yes, because Hanuman is also a plenary portion of Rudra, right? So the debate between the Lord and his servant began. The Lord was greatly pleased to hear the explanations of Murari, who, by the Lord's mercy, was most learned. And the Lord placed his lotus hand on the body of Murari. At that time, Murari's body was filled with ecstasy, and he thought, such extraordinary knowledge is not possible for an ordinary human being. There is no one in all of Navadvip as intelligent as he. He then said, O Thakur, now I'll study only under you. After sporting in this way, Nimai went to take bath in the Ganga with his companions, and then returned home. Nimai Pandit and his students established a school in the Chandi Mandap in the courtyard of the fortunate Mukunda Sanjay, the resident of Navadvip. There, Nimai displayed various pastimes, such as establishing his own explanations and refuting others' explanations. While teaching in this way, Nimai would proudly boast about his mastery of learning in the following way. I see that in Kali Yuga, those who are devoid of any knowledge of sandhi or adjoining words pass as bhattacharyas. At present, there is no scholar within Navadvip who can answer my challenge. Meanwhile, considering that Nimai had attained a marriageable age, Mother Shachi constantly thought about getting him married. One day, by providence, Lakshmi Devi, the personification of the goddess of fortune and the daughter of Vallabhacharya, who hailed from a pure cultured Brahmana family, met her lord Gaur Narayan while taking bath in the Ganga, and she offered prayers to his lotus feet within her mind. By the will of the Lord, that very day, Sri Vanamali, a Brahman matchmaker resident of Navadvip, he proposed to Mother Shachi the marriage of Nimai with Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabh. Not getting any special attention or hope of marriage from Mother Shachi, the Brahman was returning home disappointed when he met Nimai on the way. After understanding everything from the Brahmana, Nimai indicated to his mother his consent for the marriage. The next day, Mother Shachi called that Brahman and told him to arrange the marriage as soon as possible. The Brahmana happily and immediately went to the house of the bride and informed her family about the consent of the groom's family, upon which Śrī Vallabhacharya also jubilantly consented. But he declared that due to poverty, he was not able to give anything more than 5 haritakis as dowry. It's like very little. It's very random also, 5 haritakis. With the agreement of both the bride and the groom's sides, an auspicious day was selected. One day before the marriage, Vallabhacharya came to Nimai's house, and at an auspicious moment executed the rituals meant to be performed with one's son-in-law before marriage. Thereafter, other auspicious Vedic and common rituals were duly performed. With the haritaki thing, the 5 haritakis as dowry, there must be some reason why it was like such an insanely small dowry when he's marrying Lakshmi Devi, who is, all wealth. She's the embodiment of wealth. So there must be some kind of reason for that. Some kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a humorous thing, or I don't know. It's interesting though, isn't it? Okay, so thereafter, other Vedic auspicious and common rituals were duly performed. On the day of the marriage, at the auspicious time of Godhuli, or dusk, Nimai Pandit, with his companions, arrived at the house of Vallabha and duly accepted the hand of Lakshmi Devi. The next evening, Nimai returned home with Lakshmi Devi. Mother Shachi, the mother-in-law of Lakshmi, along with other Brahmins' wives, welcomed her daughter-in-law home. From that day on, Mother Shachi observed various opulences and wealth, such as extraordinary effulgences and fragrances, and she became overjoyed on understanding that her daughter-in-law was none other than Kamala, or Lakshmi. Due to the presence of Śrī Gaur Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha, and his internal potency, Śrī Rama, who is non-different from Śrī Lakshmi, the house of Mother Shachi manifests as Vaikuntha, the abode of pure goodness. Yet at that time, by the supreme will of the Lord, no one could understand the covered pastimes of the Lord. Chapter 11. Meeting with Sri Ishwar Puri. This chapter describes various subjects like the scholastic pastimes of Nimai Pandit, Mukunda's chanting the names of Krishna in Advaita's assembly, Nimai's sporting pastimes with Mukunda, the godlessness of Nadia, the arrival of Ishwar Puri in Navadip, his meeting with Advaita Prabhu, his accepting lunch and discussing topics of Krishna at Gaura's house. He teaches his own book, Shri Krishna Lilamrita, to Shri Gadadhar Pandit, Nimai's comments on that book, and enjoying topics of Krishna with Shri Puripad. Okay, summary. Shri Gaurachandra, the husband of Saraswati, wandered throughout Navadip with thousands of students while remaining intoxicated from scholastic mellows. Throughout Navadip, no one other than Gangadas Pandit could properly understand Nimai Pandit's explanations. According to their mundane mentality, the materialists saw Nimai Pandit in various ways. The atheists saw him as Yamaraj personified. The materialists saw him as Cupid personified. And the learned scholars saw him as Brihaspati personified. Meanwhile, the Vaishnavas eagerly waited with the following hope. When will the Lord manifest devotional service to Vishnu within this world, which is devoid of devotion to Vishnu? Many people came to study in Navadip, which was the main educational center. Many Vaishnava residents of Chattagram came and lived in Navadip in order to study and reside on the bank of the Ganga. In the afternoon, all the pure devotees would gather in the assembly of Sri Advaita. All the Vaishnavas in the assembly of Advaita felt great happiness in their hearts on hearing the glories of Lord Hari chanted by Mukunda, who is dear to all the Vaishnavas. For this reason, the Lord was also very pleased at heart with Mukunda. As soon as Nimai saw Mukunda, He would challenge him with questions and logic, and both then would engage in loving debate. Nimai would also challenge other devotees headed by Srivas. Fearing that Nimai would challenge them, they would all run away from him. Having renounced topics not related to Krishna, the devotees did not love to hear about anything except Krishna Katha, and Nimai did not ask them anything other than questions on logic. One day, Nimai Pandit was coming on the main road with some students. At that time, Mukunda saw Nimai from a distance and immediately tried to escape from his vision. On the pretext of describing the reason for Mukunda's behavior, Nimai narrated his and his devotees' glories to Govinda, who is his servant and doorkeeper, saying, "I have not yet revealed the topics of devotional service to Krishna. That is why Mukunda ran away from me. But he will not do this for long, because I will manifest such pure devotional service and Vaishnava characteristics that even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva will come to my doorstep and roll on the ground." Thereafter, the author describes the godless atmosphere of Navadvip at that time. Although the devotees were always engaged in chanting the names of Krishna, the people of Nadia were so averse to Krishna and maddened by enjoyable objects like wealth and children that as soon as they heard the chanting of Krishna's names by the devotees, particularly the four brothers headed by Srivas, they ridiculed and teased them. Hearing the blasphemous words from the sinful atheists, the Vaishnavas felt great distress within their hearts and always thought, "When will Sri Krishna Chandra appear within this world and eradicate the dearth of kirtan?" When the Vaishnavas informed Śrī Advaita about the criticism and blasphemous words of the atheists, Advaita Prabhu vowed, "I will induce Krishna, who gives pleasure to the hearts of the devotees, to manifest here in Navadvip." By the words of Śrī Advaita, the distress of the Vaishnavas was mitigated. Meanwhile, as Nimai increased Shachi's joy by remaining absorbed in the pleasure of study, Śrī Ishwarpuri one day arrived incognito at Śrī Advaita's house in Navadvip. By seeing his wonderful effulgence, Advaita Acharya understood that Ishwarpuri was a Vaishnava sannyasi. When Mukunda sang a song about Krishna in Advaita's assembly, the naturally deep ocean of love for Krishna in the pure heart of Ishwarpuri overflowed. Thereupon, everyone came to know that this devoted sannyasi was Ishwarpuri. One day, as Sri Gaurasundar was returning home from teaching, by providence, he met Ishwarpuri on the way. The Lord, who is Jagat Guru, displayed honor to his devotees by immediately offering obeisances to his servant. Seeing Nimai's wonderful effulgence, Ishwarpuri inquired about his identity and the subject of his studies. Nimai answered all of Ishwarpuri's inquiries and then respectfully brought him home. He brought him home for lunch. After Shachi Devi cooked and offered foodstuffs to Sri Krishna and fed Ishwarpuri, Ishwarpuri began to discuss topics of Krishna with Nimai. While discussing Krishna Katha, Ishwarpuri became overwhelmed with love of God. Ishwarpuri stayed in Navadvip at the house of Sri Gopinath Acharya for a few months, and Nimai regularly went to see him. Seeing the devotion of Gadadhar Pandit, who was renounced from his childhood, Ishwarpuri began to affectionately teach him his book, Shri Krishna Lilamrita. Every evening, after studying and teaching, Nimai went to offer obeisances to Ishwarpuri. One day, Ishwarpuri requested Nimai Pandit to point out the mistakes in his Shri Krishna Lilamrita, and he indicated his desire to correct the mistakes under Nimai's guidance. Hearing his words, the Lord condemned mundane scholarship and spoke the following invaluable nectarian words. The Lord said, "First of all, this book is composed by such a pure devotee as Puripad, and moreover, it is full of topics about Krishna. Therefore, whoever finds faults in this book is certainly an offender." The poetry of a pure devotee, in whatever form it may be, is always pleasing to Krishna. There is no doubt about it. The Supreme Lord never sees any grammatical faults in the statements of his devotees, for he is controlled by devotion and he accepts the sentiments of his devotees. A person who finds faults in the statements of a devotee is himself full of faults. No one is so audacious as to find faults in the descriptions of the Supreme Lord by a pure devotee like Puripad. But Ishvar Puri repeatedly requested Nimai to point out the faults in his book. In this way, Ishvar Puri regularly spent an hour or two with Nimai, discussing various subjects. After hearing a verse from Ishvar Puri's book one day, Nimai Pandit sportingly said, the verb in this verse should be parasmaipadi instead of atmanepadi. Another day, when Nimai came back, Ishvar Puri said, the verb that you have not accepted as atmanepadi, I have accepted as atmanepadi. In order to increase the glories and display the victory of his servant, the Lord did not point out any further faults. In this way, after spending some time enjoying educational pastimes with Nimai, Ishvar Puri left Navadip to continue sanctifying the holy places of India. Chapter 12. The Lord's wandering throughout Navadip. Okay, so we're ending with this for our reading today. This chapter mainly describes Sri Gauranga's wandering the streets of Navadip, his discussing scriptures on the bank of the Ganga, and his manifestation of various opulences. Among the best of teachers, learned scholars, and Bhattacharyas of Navadip, none could stand before or defeat Nimai in debate. In the company of his disciples, Nimai wandered the streets of Navadip like an independent lord. One day, by providence, Nimai met Mukunda on the path and asked him why he stayed away from him. And then Nimai also told Mukunda that if he could not answer his question, he would not leave him alone. Well, I guess that's the reason why Mukunda would avoid him. Knowing that Nimai had knowledge of only grammar, Mukunda resolved to silence him by asking him questions on Alankar. Oh, Kishore mentioned a point. I think it's interesting that we don't know who Ishvar Puri is in Krishna Lila. Yeah, is it not mentioned anywhere? That is very interesting. Huh. So, Mukunda, Nimai said that I'm not going to leave you alone until you answer my question. And so then knowing that Nimai only had knowledge of grammar, Mukunda resolved to silence him by asking him questions on Alankar. Nimai, however, pointed out various alankaric faults while totally breaking Mukunda's poetic talent to pieces. Seeing Nimai's unlimited knowledge, Mukunda was astonished and resolved, if such an intelligent person became a devotee of Krishna, I would never leave his association. On another day, when Nimai met Gadadhar Pandit, he asked him the symptoms of liberation. When Gadadhar told the Lord that the symptoms of liberation, according to the conclusions of the Nyaya Shastras, the Lord pointed out various faults. When Gadadhar Pandit said, mitigation of excessive misery is a symptom of liberation. Atyantika dukkha nivritti iti. What is it? Was it moksha or mukti? Mukti, I think. So when Gadadhar Pandit said that excessive misery is a symptom of liberation, Mahaprabhu, the master of Saraswati, refuted it. Every afternoon, Nimai discussed the Shastras with students on the bank of the Ganga. Although the Vaishnavas were greatly pleased to hear the Lord's wonderful explanations of the scriptures, they thought that if such a learned person as Nimai became a devotee of Krishna, then everything would be successful. The devotees prayed in this way. They prayed, let Nimai have attachment for Krishna. Out of love, some blessed him, saying, let Nimai attain devotion to Krishna. Whenever Nimai saw the devotees headed by Srivas, he manifested the pastime of offering obeisances, thus demonstrating by his own behavior that devotional service to Krishna is awakened only by the blessings of the devotees. According to their respective mentality and qualification, various people saw the Lord in various ways. Even the Yavanas were attracted to the Lord when they saw him. Nimai taught his students grammar in the Chandi Mandap hall within the courtyard of the fortunate Mukunda Sanjaya of Navadip. One day, the Lord manifested transformations of ecstatic love on the pretext of an disorder of winds. Sorry, I started getting tired. One day the Lord manifested transformations of ecstatic love on the pretext of a disorder of winds. Being illusions by Yogamaya, the Lord and his friends and relatives, who have natural affection for him, applied various medicinal oils on the Lord's head. Sometimes the Lord, who always enjoys pastimes, proudly and loudly disclosed the truth about himself. When by his own sweet will, the Lord manifested a return to his normal state, everyone there happily chanted the names of Hari. At that time, the residents of Nadia, whose only life and soul was Śrī Gaura, joyfully distributed clothes and other items to the poor and distressed. After sporting in the water of the Ganga with his students at noontime, the Lord would return home, worship Lord Krishna, offer water to Tulsi, circumambulate her, and then accept foodstuff given by Lakshmi Priya. After glancing towards Yoga Nidra for some time, that means after taking a nap, he would again leave for teaching. On his way, he would talk and joke with the residents of Navadip. One day, on reaching the house of a weaver, Nimai asked for some cloth and accepted what was given without payment. Another day, Nimai went to the house of some cowherdmen and asked for some yogurt and milk. Addressing the Lord as Mama, or uncle, the cowherdmen joked with him in various ways. The cowherdmen joked with him in various ways and gave him plenty of yogurt and milk, free of charge. The Lord also revealed the truth about his own identity on the pretext of joking with them. One day, the Lord accepted various divine perfumes from the perfume merchant. One day, he accepted a garland of various flowers from the florist. And one day, he accepted betel nuts and similar spices from the pawn merchant. In this way, the Lord pleased them by accepting their free gifts. Being overwhelmed on seeing the matchless beauty of the Lord, everyone offered him various free items. On another day, when he arrived at the house of a conch merchant, the conch merchant gave Gaur Narayan a conch and offered him obeisances. He did not ask any payment in exchange. One day, the Lord went to the house of an astrologer and asked about the details of his previous birth. As soon as the astrologer began to chant the Gopal mantra in order to calculate the Lord's horoscope, he immediately saw various pastimes of Krishna and his wonderful forms of the Lord in his meditation. While seeing those wonderful forms, the astrologer opened his eyes and saw Gaur Hari before him, and then again entered into his meditation. But by the influence of the Lord's internal potency, he could not recognize the Lord. Struck with wonder, he said, "Perhaps a demigod or some expert in mantras has come here in the guise of a Brahmin to test me." One day, the Lord went to the house of Sridhar and asked him, "Though you are serving the husband of Lakshmi, why are you bereft of food and clothes? And why is your house old and broken? Why are ordinary people who worship Durga and Vishahari so materially prosperous?" In reply, Sridhar said, "A king living in a palace and eating palatable foodstuffs, and a bird living in a nest in a tree and eating whatever it finds on various places, they both pass their time in the same way. There is no difference in their enjoyment or of happiness." Sorry, I just lost my spot. Sorry guys, I fell asleep while I was reading. Oh, there it is. Okay. So in reply, Sridhar said it. So the Lord asked, why are ordinary people who worship Durga and Vishahari so materially prosperous? And Sridhar said, a king, right? Sorry guys, okay. Though you're serving the husband of Lakshmi, why are you bereft of food and clothes? And why is your house old and broken? When ordinary people who worship Durga and Vishahari are so materially prosperous. In reply, Sridhar said, a king living in a palace and eating palatable foodstuffs, and a bird living in its nest in a tree and eating whatever it finds in various places, both pass their time in the same way. There is no difference between the enjoyment of happiness, because everyone enjoys their respective fruits of karma. In this way, on the pretext of joking, the Lord disclosed the glories of a devotee, and daily obtained banana shoots, bananas, and banana flowers free of charge from Sridhar. The Lord revealed the truth of his own identity while disclosing the glories of Sridhar. He indicated that he belonged to a family of cowherds, and that he was the controller of the Ganga and other energies. Then, as the Lord returned home and from the house of Sridhar, his students also returned to their own homes after the completion of their studies. One day, when the Lord saw the full moon in the sky, he became absorbed in the mood of Śrī Vrindavan Chandra, and in that mood, he began to play wonderfully on a flute. No one other than Shachi Devi could hear the sound of that flute. After hearing that sweet sound, Shachi Devi came out of the room and saw Nimai sitting on the floor of the Vishnu temple. As Shachi Devi approached, she could no longer hear the sound of the flute, but she saw the moon directly manifest on her son's chest. In this way, Shachi Devi regularly saw unlimited opulences of Lord Gaur. One day, when Srivas Pandit met the Lord on the pathway, he asked him. Srivas Pandit said, Nimai, why are you wasting your time by not engaging your mind in the worship of Krishna? What will you gain by studying and teaching day and night? People study only for the purpose of understanding devotional service to Krishna. If that is not achieved, then what is the benefit of such useless education? Therefore, do not waste any more time. You have studied enough. Now, without wasting another moment, begin worshipping Krishna. Hearing these words from the mouth of his devotee, the Lord said, O Pandit, you are a devotee. By your mercy, I will certainly be able to worship Krishna. In conclusion, since the author, who is the king of devotees, did not take birth during the Lord's scholastic pastimes, he humbly laments that though he was bereft of experiencing this happiness, he nevertheless begs for the mercy of Gaurasundar and prays that remembrance of the transcendental pastimes of Gaur be ever illuminated in his heart in every birth. Wherever Sri Gaurasundar and Nityananda enact their pastimes with their associates, the author's only prayer is to remain with them as their servant. Jai Ho. Okay, so that's our summary for today. Tomorrow we'll read about defeating the Digvijay Pandit. Tomorrow defeating the Digvijay Pandit, the Lord's travel to East Bengal and the disappearance of Lakshmi Priya, the marriage with Sri Vishnu Priya, the glories of Haridas Thakur, and the Lord's travel to Gaya. We'll read those summaries tomorrow. Yeah, and sorry I was getting so sleepy today. As I mentioned, they did fireworks all night last night, so I didn't get much sleep. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Kishore
Jai Subrikar Shishi Guru Gauranga Ganharta Giridhari Radha Vinar Bihari Radha Nainath Radha Raman Bihari Radha Marva Shishi Radha Kunj Bihari Ji ki Jai Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ji ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Paramahamsa Vari Vrajachari Vari Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Paramahamsa Vari Vrajachari Vari Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Vedanta Shara Narayan Goswami Maharaj Pari Pavan Gurudev ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Balab Tirtha Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Vedanta Vikram Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Vedanta Shara Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Dvaita Madhav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Astotrashta Shishiman Jagar Guru Shri Varishvanavi Devi Daitadas Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai Swaprikar Shila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Mahaparam Bhagavad Parvar Paramahamsa Shishamar Gaur Kishore Das Bhavshi Maharaj ki Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Har Ashtotrashta Shishimat Sachidanand Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahashai Saptam Goswami ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishtam Vishnu Par Vaishnav Sarvoma Ashtotrashta Shishimat Jagannath Das Bhavshi Maharaj ki Jai Surya Kundavasi Siddha Shri Madhusudan Das Bhavshi Maharaj ki Jai Sri Urvadas Udaran Das ki Jai Gurvedan Acharya Shishimat Baladev Bhushan Prabhu ki Jai Mahamho Padidya Raska Shiromani Shila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Par ki Jai Srila Rasikanand Murari Prabhu ki Jai Srila Ramachandra Kaviraj ki Jai Sri Lochan Das Thakur ki Jai Srila Narottam Das Thakur Mahashai Srinivasacharya Shyamanand Pandit Prabhutrai ki Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Vyasavatar Arika Vishla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai Sri Ashtakavirash Vasurajanva Nityananda Durash Gopal Shri Chaushati Mahanda ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanantan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Rasa Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Lokanath Pukarva Adi Gaur Parishad Vrind ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhar Shiva Shri Gaur Bhakti Vrind ki Jai Srila Ishwar Paripar ki Jai Srila Marvendra Paripar ki Jai Sri Andadip Mayapuri Samandip Godram Deep Madhyadip Kolidip Ritvidip Janudip Madhara Drumadip Rudradip Matmaka Shri Navdip Dham ki Jai Sri Eka Chakra Dham ki Jai Sri Shantipur Dham ki Jai Sri Gaura Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Gopi Gopago Giri Govardhan Dvashat Vanatmaka Shri Braj Mandal Dham ki jai. Sri Radha Kund Sham Kund Ganga Saki Amana Saki Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Rani Thakurani ki jai. Sri Lalita Vishaka Chitra Champakalata Tunga Vidya Induleka Rang Devi Sudevi Arisakya Vrind ki jai. Sri Ananga Prema Manjalali Shri Rupalamanga Raghavila Saganarati Kasturi Ari Manjari Vrind ki jai. Sri Kamala Manjari ki jai. Sri Nayanamani Manjari ki jai. Srimati Vrind Devi ki jai. Sri Bhagavati Purnamasi Kumai Devi ki jai. Sri Gopishwar Sarshi Ma Devi ki jai. Radha Panan Kitadam Shri Vrindavan ki jai. Jai Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Nilamar Ju ki jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Purushottam Kshetra Mandal Nilachal Dham ki jai. Sri Tatta Gopinath ki jai. Sarva Viknamina Shankari Bhakta Viknamina Sri Narasingh Dev ki jai. Bhaktarash Bhakta Pravara Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Singh Dev ki jai. Shri Chari Ram Chari Sampradaya Chari Achari ki jai. Sri Madhvaru Manuja Vishnu Swami Nimbiditya Chari Achari ki jai. Akarmatara Shri Caitanya Mad ki jai. Sri Gauri Mad Vrind ki jai. Grantara Shrimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita Chaitanya Charitamrita Chaitanya Bhagavad Jaiva Dharma Adi Sarva Gauriya Vaishnav Grantha Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Shishimar Haridas Thakur ki jai. Tribhuvan Mangal Shri Harinama Prabhu ki jai. Tribhuvan Mangal Shri Harinam Sankirtan Dharma ki jai. त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद कुरि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। श्रीमान नित्यानंद राम हजान प्रभु की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। शील वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। शील प्रभुपाद सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय। शील प्रभुपाद गौरी वश्य की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवत अधिकंड की जय। श्री मुकुंद की जय। श्री कुलवेच श्रीधर की जय। श्री वनमाली पंडित की जय। श्री वल्लभाचार्य की जय। श्री लक्ष्मी प्रिय देवी की जय। श्री मुरारी गुप्त की जय। श्री गौर नारायण लक्ष्मी प्रिया विष्णु प्रिया की जय। श्रीनिताय 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 गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Sorry. Om Vrindaya Tulsidevaya Priyaya Keshavaşcha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashcha Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Satya Mataji, Narihari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, and on YouTube and Facebook. I don't have it open right now, but sorry. But yeah, 1 second. Actually, I can just see. I was just in the middle of anyways. Let's see who's there. Oh, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, Vidya Lala Sadidi, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantra Murti Mataji, Karuna Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Sudevi Didi, and Lakshmi Mandal, and anybody else who's watching, Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna. So if anybody has anything that they would like to mention, this is the time.
I have a question, but it's off topic.
Sure.
It's a very basic question, but I still don't know what the answer is. Why do we not eat eggs?
Sorry, a firecracker went right when you said the last word. What did you say?
Why do we not eat eggs?
Why do we not eat eggs?
Yeah, okay. What's the reason?
Maybe Satyamataji has more to say on this, or Hari Prabhu, but I heard Srila Prabhupada say that Srila Prabhupada said something, and I'm not sure if this is true, but he said that eggs are did he say something like eggs are not sinful, they are abominable? Something like that? Because it's kind of like eating the chicken's period, right? Or something like, right? Isn't it? But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Has anybody heard anything like that? I don't know. That is a pretty random question, though.
Someone asked me, a devotee asked me, and I didn't know what to answer.
Okay.
I have something to say about it. It's
Yeah.
the egg is made out of blood and mucus, and it's the if it's not fertilized, then, like you said, it's like eating the chicken's menstrual period. So in one sense, it is abominable, but at the other sense, it's the very beginning of life. It's like if it's fertilized, you're eating the embryo, the unborn embryo. And it's a lot of people say, oh, it's just abominable. It's not really part of the not, eating animals. But Srila Prabhupada also said that if Krishna said, oh, offer me meat, then we'd offer meat. So in one sense, we're not eating eggs because Krishna doesn't want us to, and he doesn't accept them, and we only eat food that's offered to Krishna. But it's the beginning of life. The egg is the seat of where the soul enters, and there maybe, I don't know, there's a soul in the sperm. They even have a ritual when you try to conceive a child, they do some sort of ceremony for all the sperm that dies. So I know that he equated it with not eating meat, fish, or chicken. So I don't think we should minimize it and just say, oh, it's just disgusting. But why would we want to offer blood and mucus to Krishna anyway?
Yeah, that was a very good answer. Perfect answer. Really good. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, and unless anybody has anything else to say, I'll see you all tomorrow for the last reading of chapters 13 to 17. And then the day after tomorrow, we will begin the Ādi-khaṇḍa of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. And I'm just looking at my calendar. What titis are coming up? There is Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj's appearance day is in 4 days from now. And then Lord Ramachandra Vijayotsav and appearance day of Madhvacharya is in 10 days. Then Akadashi is in 11 days. Then the disappearance day of 3 Goswamis, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is in 12 days. And then Kartik is exactly, and also the disappearance day of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Brighan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, that's in exactly 2 weeks from now, 14 days from now, October 28th. So those are the titis coming up. So yeah, in a few days we'll read about Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, maybe read some articles by him. His writings are just amazing. So yeah, we have that to look forward to. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.